Hi there, I'm Holly from Sparrow Pilates, and I wanted to go through a few exercises just to get your hips moving. I know we're sitting more than we'd like, so let's get our hips going a little bit. So we'll start laying on our backs. And if you need to put anything under your head, feel free. You don't want your head falling backwards, so nice and long through the spine. Take the feet wide apart, about as wide as the mat, wider than your hips width apart. Your arms can just rest comfortably on the floor, and you're just going to drop your knees a little bit side to side. Feel like you're opening across the front of the hip. You can create a little bit of opposition through the upper body, so turning and looking in the opposite direction you're going. If that feels good, your arms could go up higher on the diagonal. You could stretch the armpit open away from the knee. So my arm is reaching one direction, my knee is reaching the other direction. I'm opening through the front of the hips, creating a little rotation through the pelvis. Let's just do that 4 more times. Dropping one way, big stretch, kind of a yawning quality. And one more each way. Coming back to the center, lower your arms down by your sides, bring your feet a little bit closer together. We're going to drop the knees in towards each other, roll the pelvis up, open across the front of the hips, let the knees open a little bit, and roll back down through the spine. So today I want the feet a little bit wider than your hips, so you have a little bit more ability to move through the lower back, open through the front of the hips, and knees come together. You open out as you roll down. One more time in this direction. Reach out through the knees, squeeze the knees together, push up through the pubic bone, and roll back down. We reverse for 4, opening out. Knees come towards each other, roll back down. Open the knees out, round the pelvis up, squeeze the knees towards each other to roll down. And last one, rolling up. Knees come towards, and we roll back down. Bring your feet sits bones distance apart and move them a little bit away from the pelvis. So from here, lift one leg up to tabletop and just stir your thigh bone in the hip socket 4 times, circling your leg around. 2, 3, and 4. And then I want you to cross your knee over the other knee. Keep your hands on the floor and just rotate a little bit side to side. Find a nice amount of rotation through the pelvis. Use the abdominals to bring you back to the center, and then stop once you get back to the center. Reverse the direction, so going away from the midline of the body, circling around. 3 and 4. Cross your foot over, flex your foot, and rotate. Rotate. And 2, 3, and 4, and come back to the center and set that foot down. Other leg lifts up, circling towards the midline. And 2, 3, and 4. Cross knee to knee and swing the knees a little one way and the other, using the abdominals to bring you back to the center. We're thinking of the legs attaching way up in towards the back of the bottom ribs, which they do via the psoas muscle. So we're trying to keep that connection in mind as we're moving. 2 and 3 and 4. Flex the foot, cross over, ankle to knee, and rotate and rotate. Nice, bouncy, swingy quality. And 3 and 4. Coming back to the center. Set that foot down. Bring your feet a little closer to you. Open your knees out. Slide your feet out away from you. Keep the abdominals connected so you're not just letting everything splay open. And bring the legs back in. You could either do both legs together like I'm doing, or you could do one leg at a time. Sliding out, opening through the front of the hips. One more this direction, connecting through the abdominals and drawing it back in. We reverse. Internally rotate, slide it out. Externally rotate, drag it in. And as you do this, you're trying to keep that sense of connecting back and into the low abdominals. Last one. And drag it back in. Coming back to laying on your back. We're going to push down through the feet and feel a connection through the back of the leg without tucking the pelvis under. So feel like you're connecting through your glutes and hamstrings, keeping neutral pelvis where the pubic bone and the hip bones are level. And then I just want you to push one foot off the floor and then set it down, push into the foot, lift the other foot. And then you can start to take this a little bit faster, like you're trying to kind of jump off the floor, push down, push down, push down, push down. You should definitely feel your abdominals working. And we're keeping the ribs from popping forward and kind of splaying, because that would lose that connection through the upper part of that psoas muscle. And then coming back to the floor, roll over onto your hands and knees, hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and just stir your body around, staying neutral. 1 direction, 2, 3, and 4. We're mobilizing the hip joints and circling. 2, 3, and 4. Coming back to the center, reach the hands under the shoulders, the knees together but under the hips. You're going to slide one leg out behind you and just slide back and slide forward from the back of the hip. As you do this a few times, there's hardly any weight in that back foot. You should feel like you're pushing and pulling through the leg that you're standing on, which for me in this case is my left leg. One more time, I'm going to stay with my hip, with my pelvis over the standing knee. I'm going to lift that leg only as high as I can keep the pelvis level, lengthening crown of head away from the back of the pelvis. And you're going to tap your foot over to one side, lift it up and over, tap to the other side. So it's kind of going up and over the rainbow. Tap. And 3, up and over, 3, and 4. You should be feeling that standing hip. And then bringing the leg back in line, flex your foot behind you, nice straight knee, circling. 2, 3, no wiggles. 4, reverse. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg in, other leg reaches out. Again, standing good, well through that standing hip, glute connection, pushing and pulling through the standing hip. And then you're gonna do a couple extra here, just feeling that drag of the foot. Neutral spine, pelvis level. Last one, bring your hip back over the knee, lift the leg up, tap over to one side without leaning, lift up and over, tap to the other side, lift up and over. And 3, 3, and 4, 4, and lift the leg up behind you, flex the foot, keep the connection through the glutes, circling around. 4, 3, 2, and 1, reverse. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring that leg back in, sit back towards your heels, stretch yourself open, pushing through the hands, opening up through the lower back. Taking a couple breaths here. And then you're going to come to your forearms and your front of your thighs, legs parallel. And you're going to allow your pelvis to be an extension. So you're not just hanging there through the shoulders and the lower back. You're pushing the floor away, connecting through serratus anterior, through the back of the shoulder girdle. And you're going to push down into your legs. You're going to scoop up through the low abs to lift the lower back into a little bit of a round shape. And then you're going to slowly return back out to that lengthened position. And again, you're pushing down through the knees to try to scoop up through the lower back. The upper back is just responding to what's happening through the lower back. And 2 more. Again, we're going for that top connection of where the leg actually attaches via the psoas muscle up into the lower spine towards the bottom ribs. And then you're going to lay all the way down, bring your hands underneath your forehead, rotate your legs, turn down and separate them. Reach long through the spine. You're going to reach so far out of one leg, you can't help but float that leg a little bit up off the floor, and then lower that leg back down. Then the other leg reaches out so far away from you, it can't help but float up off the floor. and then you lower back down. You're trying not to just lift and let the leg rotate to parallel. So you're keeping that turnout. So the back of the hips, glute max, deep six lateral rotators, those are all working to help maintain that rotation through the hip. Super simple exercise, but a lot of us lose the connection to the glutes and the back of the leg. And so we're working on maintaining that and building that strength to help take tension out of the front of the hips. One more each side, opening, lowering the leg down, and the leg opens in the front of the hip, and then you lower back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself back, come back onto the hands and knees, and you're gonna reach one leg out again behind you. Try not to shift your weight forward. You can reach the leg up off the ground only as far as you aren't sinking into the lower back, so you're staying neutral. And then stay there, hold that position really straight and through that leg, and then just lower and lift. It should feel like you could almost take your hands off the ground. Lift, lower, lift, floating the glutes up away from the back of the thigh, and 3, and 4, and then you're going to reach the opposite arm out away from that, lower and lift, 4, keep stable, 3, 2, and last one, and then bring that arm and leg back down, reach the other leg out, really straighten through the leg, open through the back of the knee, and finding center between right and left and front and back so you're not shifting to accommodate this movement. Lower the leg, lift, and 2, lift, 3, and 4, hold the leg up, reach the arm out without anything tipping or changing, lower and lift, really connect into the low abs, lower and lift, pushing the floor away through the leg and the arm, last one, and lift, and setting it back down. Bring your leg back in, separate your knees a little bit, 4 circles one way, 2, 3, and 4, reverse, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come to sitting. Once you're sitting, you're gonna prop yourself up on your arms, or you could be on your forearms, whichever is more comfortable. I'm gonna do this on my hands today. So you're gonna start to take the legs really wide apart, tip the knees over to one side, and let your arm just reach across on a high diagonal. So I'm pulling in the abdominals, reaching through the arm, and the knees reach away from the direction of the arm. And this is very playful and kind of fun. You're trying to find areas that you need to move through. Then we're gonna tip, reach through the back leg to get a little more opening through the front of the hip, rotate, reach through the back leg, rotate, reach through the back leg, and one more time, rotate, reach through the back leg, and come back to the center. Last thing, you're gonna come up onto your knees. You're gonna open across the front of the hips, squeeze the feet together, connect through the glutes between the sits bones. Feel like you're opening the front of the pelvis. So you're drawing down through the back, lifting up tall. And we're just gonna lift the arms up overhead, pushing down through the shins. Open your sternum to the ceiling, pull up on the low abdominals, and do that again. Reach the arms forward, the palms can turn out, and then you can bend the elbows to open the sternum a little bit, the heart, the chest. Then we're gonna round back, doing that same motion, back of the hands come towards each other, push yourself forward and up to lift. And rounding back, opening the front of the hips, lift up and back. And 3 more, rounding back, lift and extend. Last one, round and lift and extend. Reach one arm up, the other hand can come to the back of the thigh, the back of the pelvis, and just lift up and back, pushing the pelvis forward, and set that hand down. The other arm reaches up, either pelvis, back of the thigh, wherever it's more comfortable. You lift up and back, and then we pause. Good. I hope that this helps to give you a few ideas to open up a little bit through your hips, get some more movement going because of the sitting that we tend to be doing these days, and that you can feel a little bit healthier in your body. Thanks for watching.